What's going on, traders? Welcome back to Start Swing Trade, where we take a look at the swing trading action on the day. And then, of course, take a look at the market. Where is the rotation going to? And we'll see. Do we find some new opportunities in this market? And like the subject topic says today, is the AI hype done? We'll take a look at some of these AI stocks, and I'll point to some of the things that I'm seeing coming out of the earnings. And you guys know I've been saying it, and this is the famous line: show me the money, because it seems like AI stocks are showing the hype of products, but not actually showing the revenue. Let's get to the action. Let's take a look at the market. Let's go to the SPY first here, as we're seeing the SPY start to drop off from the 450s, but not a bad day overall. It did climb up a little bit, but to me, I still think we're still kind of trading sideways here. And I can take a look here at the cues that kind of point towards that. I drew this rectangle on, of course, like Wednesday's action, and it just seems like we're just staying sideways, right? So yes, we went down there towards the lower extreme and maybe pushed it up a little bit higher on the higher extreme last week, right? So somewhere in between this range, we are stuck, right? Now, the only question is, are we breaking to the upside or the downside? I don't know which way it's going to go. I don't think anyone knows which way it's going to go. Now, of course, some of the things that we can think about. What got us to these levels, right? Well, what got us to these levels, let's be honest, it was a bunch of AI hype, right? And so now we need to see, are the multiples and the valuations that we're giving these companies reasonable, right? The truth is, they're probably unreasonable. Why? Because we don't know what the multiplier effect from this AI bubble is actually going to give these companies. Are these companies really just kicking it out of the water? No. The truth is, I don't see earnings that really classify these stocks to be trading at where they are. It's more of a heightened environment, bull market environment, right? And so that is going to play an effect on the PE outlook, right? We're going to go looking for growth. Now, the only question is the AI hype done, as we start to see what? No actual true revenue coming to the bottom line, as earnings outlook and growth outlooks don't look that great moving forward, because we were expecting a big AI revenue influx. We're just not getting it here. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at some of the action out there. I'll talk about my trading action coming up, but stick around, traders. A lot more for you guys right here, of course, on Start Swing Trade. Let's get to the action. Let's take a look at what's going on in the market today. What's leading, what's not. It's very important, right? Well, real estate is getting another little bounce to the upside, and this had pulled back recently, and not really a sector that I trade often, but you guys can see they're hanging on there. Definitely don't want to be messing with real estate and home builders. That's one area I'm not going to get in front of. Now, financial services bouncing back today. Not the worst thing to see, right? You can take a look at JPM. You could take a look at Citi. You could take a look at Bank of America today. That's up a little bit higher. And of course, Goldman Sachs, right back towards 355. So when the banks are staying strong, that's one way that I can see the SPY still stay in the green on days where technology is just slightly in the green from the open, just barely by a little bit. So financial services definitely leading that higher. Today, we saw also industrials staying strong as it gets a little bit of a bounce. So we can keep our eyes on these bigger stocks here, of course, to see how those were running today. Let's take a look at this. And you can see UPS getting a little bit of a lift. Of course, they report tomorrow before the bell, so be careful on that one. Caterpillar, pull back, found the dip buyers already around the 9 EMA, the 274. I was wondering, would we come into this gap zone? And that's what I was looking for more of a pullback for Deere. But we're already back there to 430s. Now, one that I definitely called out really early into live trading was Boeing with a nice move out the gates, right? It didn't come back there to the 235 level, but really staying strong. And so one of the ones I definitely wouldn't be getting in front of is Boeing. This looks like it wants another lift higher. We'll see if it can continue to push. Of course, there's other areas in industrials to keep an eye out for. I'm still looking for the airlines to pull back a little bit. They did start moving up a little bit today, so I'm going to keep watch. But I think we could still get these a little bit lower. Even Love, back down to 32s. Can I get this back down to the 31 handle? I wouldn't mind taking a shot on some of these airlines. American Airlines at 16, playing around with the 1577 level. I'm still looking for a move to the 200-day moving average, which is 1506. We'll see what happens there. Smash the like if you guys are enjoying it, and keep throwing up those stocks. Yes, Palantir is a nice AI stock reporting today. We'll talk about that coming up. Meow. Yeah, I like the name too in the chat. Let's keep it going, team. Smash it up. Let's go back to the stocks, right? Of course, we're seeing also defensive stocks move up a little bit higher. As you saw in the small penny land, stocks like Save Foods moving up as of late, right? MF moving up as of late. Grocery stores getting a little bit of a lift today. Of course, you guys saw the move to defensives, and this could be just a slight daily rotation. Doesn't necessarily mean they're actually going after these names and fully rotating. I did see some names here start to make a little bit of an uplift today. We'll see if this can really get these moving. Of course, there was one in this space that actually had a bad report, got smacked down, but look how Tyson came right back. And we'll see what happens on this one. But man, that was quite a beating on that report to come all the way back here to 53.96 after being right there towards the open down to 50.10. So nice little comeback there for Tyson. We'll see if it's able to make a move back up to the upside. Not really an area that I'm looking to grab on, even though I'm seeing some lift there, is the defensive names. Now, what's in the red today? Energy pulling back a little bit. Now let's talk a little bit about my trading action within energy. Of course, I had Chevron, and I actually cut this out today, break even. Would I still be in the green this today? Yes, but I didn't want to let this go to 159. Why? Because I could have gave up all the gains that I took on Friday. Friday, I made a nice gain on Chevron, didn't want to give that back. So as the price came back through my 160 level, I just set break even, stop out, got hit on the break even, stop out, and I'm okay with taking that hit, even if it does go into the green now. Because the truth is, this was the third oil position. At first, we were able to nail Valero, right? VLO, which wasn't a bad one. We also nailed PXD. It's actually the fourth one. So then after PXD, what did we have? We had XOM. And then I went after Chevron. So if I'm going to get 3 in the green and only 1 will be a slight profit, I'll be okay with that. Let's go to XOM as I still have this one today. We did make a little bit of a move above 108. And I talked about my important levels for the daily on XOM. As long as it can hold this 9 EMA pullback towards 106.28 or 106 overall, I'm still thinking that XOM has a good chance to get back towards the 110. So I'm holding on this one. We'll have to find out. All right, let's keep going. I see Moderna down big today. I'll catch that one. We'll get to it when I get into the healthcare area. Now, energy is something that I'll definitely keep an eye out to see if it can continue to lift. Of course, I did see mentions of a drone hitting kind of a Russian naval ship and also attacking some oil tankers. So we'll see if that kind of keeps going. This type of action from Ukraine fighting back could definitely cause a spike in oil. Not saying that it's a negative, but overall could definitely cause a spike as you see oil prices trying to push. And Hannah, bringing in a really good, interesting. Hannah, you're at the right spot for especially questions like this. What's going on in Upstart? Why is Upstart coming down? Let's talk a little bit about that, Hannah. All right, let's get into the action. Of course, I've talked about some rotation. We can get back to the rotation talk, but I think she's bringing up a very interesting question here. So she's asking about Upstart. And of course, if you guys were watching Money Mitch, you guys would probably have heard last week right here on Start Swing Trade, we were already thinking about shorting Upstart. That was a little bit more brave and a little bit of a risky situation, right? You would have to have risk off the 70s, but I also saw the momentum starting to turn. Of course, Upstart is going into their earnings. Their earnings come out tomorrow, so just be careful there. Like always, you guys can check our earnings calendar. If you haven't checked our earnings calendar already, don't know what you're waiting for. You guys can get this on our Twitter. Just go to, of course, Twitter, Benzinga, and you guys can check out when Upstart reports, right? So Upstart is going to be definitely one we're going to keep a close eye. That's going to be tomorrow after the bell, right? And you guys, this could be something that's coming ahead of it, right? So it's already kind of getting hit. But really, what was Upstart to begin with? Did this move have anything to do with the business itself? I don't think so. I think this move had everything to do with a height short interest stock getting squeezed back to the upside. We saw plenty of names like this. We saw Carvana make a move like this. We saw Affirm make a move like this. Even Beyond Meat make a move like this. Squeezes are going to happen in high short interest types of stocks. Now, one thing that we got to always understand is what's the current environment? Does the current environment help or hurt Upstart? Well, you've seen it recently. It very much helped this move. It helped this move get all the way up there to 70. But now you're already almost back down to 50. So just from last week, if you got that high, that 72, right? You're already down about 28%. So Upstart's like in its own little bear market now, coming right back down. That's where you got to be careful. As we start to see the growth names pull back, does it mean they're completely broken? No. But when we start seeing names like AI, and this is going to bring us into is the AI hype done with conversation, and you can start seeing stocks like this break down. This is very important. Now you're starting to see AI trying to cut through this 35. And if it lets go of this 35, this AI trade could be done. So I'm keeping an eye out on a stock like C3AI to see what happens here. Do we just make a move back here and then get the next flush? We got to be alert for the moves like this. Palantir is running into a little bit of some trouble tonight. I think that you're going to hear AI mentioned plenty of times on Palantir's earnings report. Now, let's look for the very important thing that I'm trying to point to today, yesterday, and at the end of last week. I started pointing to show me the money. Palantir, perfect example, has been getting the lift because everyone sees it as an AI stock. And you will be hearing mentions of AI products, but can you show me the money? Can you tell me the revenue is going up by this amount? If that doesn't happen, I think you'll see Palantir pop and drop. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Am I 100% going to be right? No, but that's what I'm going to be looking for because that's the trend that I'm starting to see. And it's something that we got to be quick about. All right, we'll keep going, guys. Like always, keep your eyes on some earnings reports. Tonight, you get Palantir. Get some other action, right? Lucid will be coming in. I don't expect anything positive from Lucid. But, of course, UPS and Eli Lilly tomorrow will be definitely on the radar as those come in before the open. We'll see what happens on those. Let's get back to the stock market action here and see what else is going on. But definitely, Palantir will show you the money. Show him the money. I agree, guys. We'll see for it, right? You guys tell me if you guys see actual revenue coming from these AI, and we'll definitely talk all about it, especially tomorrow. If Palantir could be the first one, that's what I want to see. Why? Because this all started when we started looking at NVIDIA and started calling out these random revenue outlooks looking forward to like 2027. Things like this. Let's keep going. Let's get into some other stock action. Of course, let's get out of the AI hype talk. We can talk about this all day long. If you guys have some more conversation in this, feel free to bring it up. All right, let's go to the stocks from the chat here. I am seeing some mention here, so I want to go ahead and at least address this area here. Let's go to it. And you guys wanted to talk about Moderna, so we'll talk about Moderna taking a big hit back down through that 100. This is one thing that I would say about Moderna. I think this has more to do with their COVID outlook. They had this COVID outlook that they could reach certain revenues in the next quarter, and their COVID numbers were dropping massively on the vaccine already. So I think the outlook that they gave was way too rosy, and that's also affecting them. But let's use Benzinga Pro. Let's see what Benzinga Pro sees today in Moderna and see if there's anything that I missed. So if I look here in of course, Benzinga Pro, I'm looking to see why the stock sunk today, and we have an article just on it, right? Shares are trading lower on Monday. The stock may be down in sympathy with vaccine peer BioNTech, which fell after reporting a year-over-year drop in sales and cutting its R&D research outlook for 2023. So BioNTech reported and missed there on a decrease on sales, so about 94.75%. So big drop there in BioNTech, really affecting Moderna. And then what does that go through? That goes to the COVID vaccines, and seeing more revenue probably decreasing in Moderna will continue the downside action. Now let's go to a better one that I kind of actually believe in the long run, which is Dexcom. And I kind of like this one. Long term, I would love to get a position in Dexcom. Really, I remember when I was looking at it back here around the 100s and the 105s. But overall, this is a good product. But just because it's a good product doesn't mean it's going to be able to hold the gains. So now you got to be careful because the weekly bar kind of really tried to break the pattern here. And so the weekly bar came back fast towards that 120. And if we go back towards 110, this could easily start breaking trend. Now, of course, I'll be looking for pullbacks on DXCM to see if we can get back up there. But for right now, this trend seems to be broken and needs to show some kind of sideways consolidation or a bounce back to show me that I want to stay in Dexcom right now. Generac, not one that I want. I'll tell you that much. I feel like people like this thing and expect to see it go higher and have a good outlook for Generac. Yet, this company to me just doesn't have what it takes here. It's starting to come back down. I do see mentions that they get sold, but the truth is Generac the only generator that's available out there? I don't think so. Definitely taking a major hit. I'd be looking for maybe the 100s to play as support again. But for right here, I'm not holding on. If anything, I'd probably be shorting off of kind of like the 114s and 115 level. But remember, Generac loves to go up and down really fast. Up, down, up, down. So just be careful. And every time I've seen this stock pop in the last kind of 2 or 3 years, it's done quick moves to the upside, but just as quickly right back to the downside. Not my favorite stock at all. Baba for 3 wishes. Well, Baba is one that I would start talking about. Did we really get fiscal policy to help these companies out? No, we got a lot of mentions that they were trying to take off consumptions from consumers in China, and that definitely helped getting the lift. But I wanted to see some true fiscal policy coming to help these companies get the move back started. So Baba did get a little bit of a lift. It even got there to 100. But where is it at? It's right back to 94. And if we don't get any else, something more than the stimulus that we've already gotten, I think this would just come right back down to that 92. And that's how Baba is sometimes. You think you got it, and then guess what? China doesn't give you what you were looking for. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action. Tesla FSD is AI product profits. No, it's not though, because the truth is I know that Elon tried to say that FSD was AI, but it's not essentially AI. It's a part of AI. I wouldn't necessarily call that AI. I think he was just trying to give the stock the boost, and I can't blame him for it on Tesla, because just by mentioning that, he did kickstart it. He got it started right back up. And then people started viewing Tesla as an AI stock. Let's be honest. Was he talking about that 2 years ago? Was he calling it an AI 2 years ago? No, he was not. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at Apple, of course, one of our major stocks. And this just shows us enough, right? I've talked about this with Microsoft. When Microsoft mentioned in their earnings call that the AI revenue would come gradually to the bottom, like it's not just going to show up immediately, we started seeing some stocks already pulling back. Then when we see Apple just talk about research and development in AI, but not really necessarily giving me the brand new AI product and how this money is going to come in, what do we see? Apple start taking a pullback. I think all these stocks were getting continuous lift. Why? Because they were viewed not only on bringing new products in AI, but necessarily making more revenue. And that's what I'm calling out. Apple's been declining in revenue. So we started looking at this as the forward growth that could keep Apple going. I know that some people bring up the car and Apple Car. I don't think that's really what's going to keep Apple driving forward. I think some of the things that will keep Apple driving forward are, of course, continued service kind of outlooks and Apple Plus, like Apple TV. I think that's going to continue to drive and grow. And then, of course, all their other services, their watches, their health, all that kind of things are going to continue to grow. But the truth is Apple's probably going to be able to make moves in growth, whether you're looking at like VR and AR type of appliance. AI, I do think goes to Apple, but how long will it take for them to get to that level, right? And technically, I mean, isn't Siri kind of like an AI? It's kind of like an AI. It just doesn't really develop from that. And that's where I could see them go. Is making a true AI Siri, right? True language model. But we'll see what happens there, right? All right, let's move out of Apple. Let's continue. Let's go to DKNG. As of course, Donkey Kong has been trying to pull back here. And I'm almost ready to call my annual NFL trade. I think that I really need to see a quick little downturn in DraftKings, maybe come back towards 28 before I call this long on DraftKings for the seasonal move. I will keep watching this. I've drawn this actually in the past. I can show you this right now. Every time, at least in the last 3 years that DraftKings has been out, it has gotten the pop going in August, going up. We're already in August and we've already gotten the move. So that's why I'm looking for a little pullback to see if we can get that move later in the month and start to drive higher as NFL and, of course, more betting talk comes out. All right, we'll see what else is going on. DraftKings, great quarter, but sold off because it ripped into earnings. Saw it at DAL and a few others. Earning setups are important. Yeah, and I think really the seasonal factors in DraftKings, I think, are going to play. I think it's also one of those keys where, you got the boost and it's okay. It's going to happen sometimes. You'll get that boost. You need some buyers to step back in and buy the pullback off of DKNG's, of course, earnings report. Let's keep going, guys. We're going to start wrapping it up here. It's about 3:54. We got about 6 minutes left here. So if you guys have stocks you guys want to take a look at, now's your chance. You guys have an opportunity. Let's keep going. We'll take a look at something else that I wanted to kind of watch. Of course, I'm going to keep my eye on basic materials. I always try to start with the sector outlook and try to see, okay, so what sector are we seeing that could really start getting going? All these technology sectors doesn't look good. Utilities doesn't look good. Energy still looking great. That still could keep the lift. And that's why I'm not betting, not turning around on my bet on oil to the upside because it still looks great there. Basic materials could get a reload up and start making moves. I'm still watching coal as that starts to go higher. And that's all about also keeping an eye out on oil stocks. So at some point, I expect BTU to really get going. But I'm going to set an alert closer towards the 22s. I'll let you guys know when we finally do get some coal moving. And of course, building materials, I wouldn't step in front of these names by any means, as you're seeing more and more building of houses. Is probably going to be the only way that we have houses on the market is if we get this huge, massive build to get the supply out there so that maybe housing prices can come down a little bit. But that's not what's probably going to happen. The truth is probably new norms out there on mortgages as you keep seeing these builders build. Because the truth is there's not enough houses out there right now to try to meet the demand. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action as I wrap it up here. Of course, I'll tell you guys about my new position. I am short of one stock that got a buy today. New position is Wayfair to the short side. Yes, you guys might call me to the dark side. What can I say, guys? I can't help myself. The wrong one there, but I can't help myself. I had to go for a short on this one. It looks like a nice little setup here. I'm not going to be too mad about this. This is definitely a little bit to the dark side here. But Wayfair came in here, UBS, with a upgrade to buy. And I said, you know what? I think you set this up for me, Wayfair. You made it look like it was going to go back up here through the 85s. I will take the short here and bet against you that you won't get to that 110 If anything, I'd see you filling in this gap first, back down to the 78s. We'll see what happens here on Wayfair. And it's right now at 83s. And I'll keep an eye on this. Now, I do want to kind of see what happens in the next couple of days to see if this can come down. Definitely won't let this get back there through the 85. I got this at 83.78 today and already up a decent amount. Going to look for this to really kind of flush down through the 82s and back down through the 81s. We'll see what happens there. Let's go to the Qs here as we wrap it up. Thank you, Jay, for calling out a new high there in the Qs as we start to push. Is this a real drive that could be sustained? We'll see. I mean, definitely hourly candles didn't want to break through the lower move today. And I'm just going to keep watch on this rectangle. We need to either get back towards the 380s or make a move to the 370s. We're just stuck between the chop right now. And I feel like this is how you easily get chopped up. Moves like this are easily how you start getting into a whole bunch of over trading while the stock market starts to go what? Sideways, where we get moves up, moves down, moves up, moves down. Essentially, just sideways action. And this is kind of a known period to do this, where the market goes dull and kind of doesn't move. So just know that we're going into that period of time where normally things slow down, not speed up. So be careful out there. There's a reason why I only have two, I'll repeat it, swing trades right now. Normally, I've been going up to 7, 8, 10 positions. I feel right now is a perfect time for me to do what? Not hit the gas pedal, not press the gas pedal down, but break, Mitch, break. You just were trading a lot? Take it slow. Take it slow through this period. Wait for that next ramp up period to maybe come on the back end of Q3 going into Q4, right? We'll see what happens on that. Q4 is known to kind of get that seasonal lift again. That's what I'm going to be looking for as we get through this kind of down period, maybe a little bit of some chop consolidation, and then we get a move. What will that be? I'll be watching to see what happens with the AI hype. Is the AI hype done? Well, keep watch on stocks like AI to see if they give us any indication if they start to break down or not. We'll see what happens there. Definitely going to continue saying it. Palantir, tonight, show me the money. And I want you guys out there telling these companies, stop telling me about AI and show me the money. I'll see you next time right here on Start Swing Trading. See you bright and early. Hit the like button. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I'm going to keep trying to do new things, bringing more and more to you guys out there, the Benzinga Nation. Let's keep going. I'll see you guys right here. Let's keep pushing bright and early on pre-market prep. Let's see. Did Palantir show that money? Something tells me they won't be.